Does it bother you that it looks like a Camry?
It bothers me so much.
Does it bother you more when I call it a Maxima? Alright, welcome to another episode of Staff Inspection. This is actually not my show, this is for all my employees. As you may have seen, Vinny building his S14. Kurt picked up yet another FD. He's got the same car camera problem I have. But today, we're gonna not only introduce a new car, but a new employee, sort of.
What up?
So this is Ron. So Ron's been here with Hoonigan since day one, like literally.
Since it was a logo on your computer screen.
Right. But he's always worked with Ken Block, so he was working on the Ken Block team while I was over here doing Hoonigan, and I got to steal him back. Because see, we were together even before Hoonigan, because he used to work at 0 to 60 magazine. So when I went to start Hoonigan after 0 to 60, I brought Ron with me like 4 months later, quick as poach. Anyway, no one cares about our love story.
Nah.
Everyone cares more about this. So Ron, explain to me why you bought a rear-wheel drive Camry.
All right, so I've been an all-wheel drive rally car type dude for pretty much since I've been in the cars. But I figured I'm out here in California, gonna be doing a lot of highway driving. There's a lot of drift events going on. So I got this 1993 Toyota Mark II JZX90.
This is quite the departure from everything I've known you to have. Because when I first met you, you had a Subaru WRX that was like the autocross king. And then you bought an Evo, and you had that forever. And unfortunately, RIP.
Got hit. Front on hit. But it's getting rebuilt.
Don't even tell people about that one, because it's such a fresh build.
Okay, all
just
right.
such a fresh build. Just hold off on that.
Yeah.
It's super fresh. This is your daily?
Yep. And I've always loved Supras, like since day one. So I had to have something with a 1J or an RB. Mark IV Supra is way too expensive. So this thing, 4 doors, 1J, twin turbo, perfect commuter in my mind.
Does it bother you that it looks like a Camry?
It bothers me so much.
Does it bother you more when I call it a Maxima?
I hate you for that. Stop that.
It's okay, I call Skylines 2-door Maximas. How are you enjoying our right-hand drive life on a daily?
Honestly, it took me about 2 weeks to get used to. And after that, it's kind of second nature. It's not bad. Also, parallel parking, super dope. Because you just look at the curb right when you're turning in.
So Ron does a lot of spirited driving. He wishes he could do more racing just like me, but unfortunately work got in the way. Which is weird when you work at an automotive brand that you don't get to drive your car as much, but such is life. When you first told me why, I was like, why'd you, like, you really want to drive right-hand drive every day? Like, I've done it. It's just not a lot of fun driving pole boots, drive-throughs, left-hand turns in busy intersections. But your reasoning was my best reasoning I've ever heard. When we go to Japan and we rent cars in Ebisu, he's got an advantage over all of us. You're just training every day in traffic.
Every single day I'm thinking, like, getting my positioning in the car. And the cool thing to me is that in Japan, every city, every little region has its own kind of drift car that they build. And in Tokyo proper, it's big body 4-door sedans. And when I was there for Tokyo Auto Salon earlier this year, we saw like a street squad of JZX90s, and I was like, I have to have one. Absolutely.
So how'd you import this?
So I went through a company called Japanese Classics. They're in Virginia. They go through it, they change filters, plugs, everything to make sure it's drivable. They give it a US title. So you just go to the DMV, register it, and you're golden.
What year is this again?
1993.
So it's just cleared like this year?
Just cleared January 1st.
For the 25-year-old?
25-year-old.
I will say one thing that's really confusing about this car, because it's a JZX. It's always just confusing because the name of the car has the name of the motor in it.
Well,
sort of. Do you know the background behind that?
That's the really weird part. So the car is called a Mark II, which is the same as a Chaser and the same as a Cresta. So Toyota had 3 of the same chassis with different trim levels. So
this is a Chaser.
It's a Chaser with a different face. So the Mark II was the base model, the Chaser was the sport model, and the Cresta was the luxury model. But all the bones, everything, suspension, chassis, everything is the exact same.
Yo, this is the wildest thing to me. Is that a traction control throttle body?
Yeah.
So that's how they manage traction controls, by just cutting throttle?
So that's your main throttle body right here, and that's the traction control throttle body, which I kind of just want to sawzall off completely.
So you're gonna keep it twin turbo, or you're gonna go single turbo?
I'm gonna keep it twins for a little while. Because of Danger Dan, he told me that the drivability on the twins is so nice. You could push like 350 to the wheel and just beat on it every day. No problems.
This is one of my favorite dailies in the building because most people don't realize how cool it is. It just sits parked with like some of our editors who drive things like Altimas and Camrys to work. And then this is just parked next to it. So now you're gonna actually lower it and make it a lot cooler.
So step one of making it 100% less Camry is more lower, thanks to some BC coilovers and some BBS wheels and a little bit of aero. Not too crazy because I want to stay street style, but little pieces here and there.
And then what's after that?
After that, we got to get rid of this.
Oh, you got a slush box in here, huh? Yo, you got
the trash can.
What? Damn, you protein?
Yeah, protein shakes.
Yo, I see you stacking right now.
I got it with 42,000 miles, and the only reason I wanted one that low mileage is because I hate rusty bolts.
So we both grew up on the East Coast, so that's all we know. I forgot you got some BBs for this too. LMs?
BBS LMs.
I like mixing the Euro wheels with J cars, although BBS is now made in Japan.
It is, yeah. Actually stamped on my wheels says made in Japan.
So it's a once Euro wheel, now
Yeah.
J wheel. All right, let's put this thing on the lift.
So first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna try and get rid of this monster truck ride height. Also, getting rid of that 25-year-old suspension with some of these BC Racing DSO with the goal of tucking these bad Johnnies underneath the fenders. A little reverse face, BBS LM. Also to get the outside looking a little better, I've got this. Doesn't look like much, but it's the OEM front aero that the Tourer V model came with. Tourer V just stands for Big Baller Twin Turbo model. And a roof wing, so that should help a little bit in the West Camry more drift car. Let's get started with the coilovers. So we got this side done and installed, fit and finish, looking pretty good. Happy with that so far. Now just need to do all three other corners. Fun. All right, so since the offset on these is a good bit more aggressive, we gotta do the fun game of fender rolling. Got the heat gun, time to go to town. Pull that fender out a little bit, get that offset we're looking for. All right, so Brian Scotto gave me a little tip. Get yourself a little infrared temp thermometer. You wanna get the fenders up to 125 degrees. Usually, with a little patience and maybe not 25-year-old paint, you can roll them out pretty good. Front's done, front lip is on, wrapped up the rear. Moment of truth, lowered it. Looks like everything clears, and there it is. Pretty hyped. Pretty stoked on this thing right now. I have to wait till daytime to get some beauties of it. Maybe give it a little wash. Been in the shop for like a day. Look at that. It's amazing how much better a car can look with just a decent set of wheels and a good drop. Shout out to BC for providing the coilovers. Kind of wanted to run it a little lower. I might eventually, but It's LA. There's a lot of potholes. There's some driveways to get into. Not really trying to smash my fenders out just yet. Really, the only thing left to do to go party is a couple of little engine mods, intercooler. Definitely got to get the auto box out of there. So automatic box, rear diff, she'll be ready to party. Camrys, I shouldn't even say this, but Camrys had a factory BBS option back in the day.